All right, everybody. Welcome to the Contextual Christian Church Bible Study, where today we're going to read Isaiah chapter 25, verse 8 to chapter 26, verse 10. I'm going to pray it in. Everybody bow your heads. Father, thank you for getting us on this Bible study today to get through more of Isaiah, to get through more context, the accurate context, and to figure out what's next and what Isaiah is talking about, whether it be something prophetic for a New Testament or maybe something going into the children of Israel's times. But we're going to get into it and see. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right, so last time we finished up Isaiah chapter 24, first off, and what we were discussing was the end of the world. We were discussing prophetically comparing it to the city on the islands. We also had where it brought up about God being in Mount Zion and how all the evil ones or terrible ones, as it pointed, was going to be ashamed or put down, and even the strangers are going to be silenced because of this. Brought up about how earth is going to be completely broken down, cleanly dissolved, as it put, just like a cottage that's removed. So, not existent, the previous earth. Then we got into about how the strong are going to, when we got into chapter 25, about how the strong are going to glorify God. And we had a comparison, the strong are going to glorify God, and the city of the terrible nations are going to fear him. Because as we saw, it compared both God's ability to destroy a city as well as his ability to protect his people. So obviously, as we were going through, we were still talking about the end and the destruction of everything, even though it hadn't fully taken place. Because if there's people there, obviously not everything's been destroyed. As it said, there was only a few men left. So we're going into the point in 25 where we're describing this moment prior to the fullness or completeness of destruction. And when we got into verse 7, it brought up how God's going to destroy the face of the covering over all the people. In other words, they're not going to be able to pretend they're deceived or be covered up or unable to see. All people are going to be knowing that he is the one true God and that this is his doing. So we'll continue from that as we get into today's verses with verse 8 in chapter 25. And I'll switch it to our first section so our first reader can read.
You good?
Go ahead.
Okay. I'll be reading Isaiah chapter 25, verses 8 to 12. Give it a couple seconds.
All right, go ahead, Charles.
Yeah. My bad. Verse 8.
I was going to say, I was like, I told you, go ahead. I just,
No, yeah. I was reading and I was unmuted, or I was muted. So, yeah, I'm glad
oh,
I'm unmuted.
okay.
Verse 8. Yeah, it's my fault. That was on me. Verse 8. He will swallow up death in victory, and the Lord God will wipe away tears from off all faces, and the rebuke of his people shall he take away from off all the earth. For the Lord has spoken it, and it shall be said in that day, Lo, this is our God. We have waited for him, and he will save us. This is the Lord. We have waited for him. We will be glad and rejoice in his salvation. For in this mountain shall the hand of the Lord rest, and Moab shall be trodden down under him, even as straw is trodden down for the dunghill. And he shall spread forth his hands in the midst of them, as he that swimmeth spreadeth forth his hands to swim. And he shall bring down their pride together with the spoils of their hands. And the fortress of the high fort of thy walls shall he bring down, lay low, and bring to the ground, even to the dust. All right, let me get up. So first off, if it connects to the last section, let me reread. He will destroy the mountain. Starting off with verse 8. Yes, a connection to my last section that I got it to from the last Bible study.
Good. And thank you for remembering. I'm kind of busy with something.
You're good.
Good.
Got my notes with me. Connection from the last section we left off at. But for this one, technically yes, but I'm gonna just leave it like this. Verse 8, one section. Verse 9, second section.
You said verse 8, one section, and then verse 9, what?
One section. So first section, second section.
Okay.
Verse 10, third section. Well, yeah, verse 10 is the third section. It seems like every little bit has a section. Every verse has a section. So there's individual things I need to talk about in each individual section. Even though I technically try to force it in like one sentence or two sentences, but no, each section is 5 sections. That's what I got.
Nope. Good
Go
try,
back.
though. You were good on the first two. I'll tell you that.
8 is connected. 8 and 9 are separate. For in this mountain shall the hand of the Lord rest, and Moab shall be trodden down under him, even as straw is trodden down for the dunghill. He shall spread forth his hands in the midst of them, as he that swimmeth spread forth his hands. He shall bring down their pride together with the spoils of their hands. And the fortress of the high forts wall shall he bring down, lay low. So, oh no, 11 and 12. He's bringing things down towards the end of 11, going into 12. 8, 9.
Close, but no. 11 is the connecting verse. 10 is bringing up how the Moabs are being brought down. 12 is bringing up how everything else, their walls are being brought down. 11 specifies how it's God spreading his hand to bring down their pride. All
Yeah.
three of those are bringing down the pride of others that God has not called. So it's 8, 9, and then 10 through 12. Do you see how we got that?
I separated them when we got into 10. For in this mountain shall the hand of the Lord rest, and Moab shall be trodden down. Now from there he's talking about bringing down Moab, but in verse 11 we didn't get anything that separated, us talking about somebody else. We just got, and he shall spread forth his
Not
hands in the
just
midst
that.
of them.
Not just that. Moab is being brought down. Why is Moab being brought down?
They wasn't following
Does it
God's
say
will, God's
why?
way.
No. It doesn't say why. It just says that they
Specifically,
aren't.
no. It just so yeah. We're bringing
Now
them
we
down.
know,
That's just
generically speaking, we know that, but specifically speaking, no, we don't know that. So when you're looking at that, you got to keep that in mind. Then When we look at 11, it's bringing down the pride. Okay, you're bringing down something else. Moab was brought down and trodden underfoot. What does it look like, for something to be trodden underfoot? It's being stomped over. Well, doesn't that sound like something that would ruin your pride? So you
Yeah,
look at
what?
11 where it shows about the pride being brought down. Ah, now we have a connecting point. It's not just saying them being brought down for no reason, because otherwise it's kind of random to say that Moab be brought down. Doesn't give anything as to why or when, or just the fact it's going to happen. And then we get into 12 and we see it's bringing down their walls. Okay, and their high forts. Well, what do your walls and your high forts do for you? They give you confidence.
Protection.
You see, exactly. And that protection gives you confidence. So all of those trace back to the same thing of bringing down pride of others. All right. Now, go ahead and do the explanation.
Starting off, verse 12. He will swallow
12?
up death. Starting off in verse 8. Sorry. Verse 8.
You smelling the fumes through the phone, Charles?
No, but I'm burnt. You have no clue. I'm burnt. He will swallow up death in victory. And the Lord God will wipe away tears from off all faces. And the rebuke of his people shall he take away from off all the earth, for the Lord has spoken it. Oh yeah, this is so this is we're still talking about a time period where end time period where when God comes back and all of that, people that are rejoicing and oh we've been following, we've been loyal, we've been this, we've been that. Whatever tears you had, you're wiping those tears off your face. And you're talking about rebuke of his people. So rebuke would be how am I stuck on rebuke? Let me grab my
Rebuke is
notes.
the shame to the point of correction.
So shame to the. Let me write that down then.
You're
Just
shaming
going back
someone
to
to
that
correct
paper.
them.
Which is funny because when you have God's chosen people and they stop all the crying and stuff, and God's with His chosen people, you can't shame them to correct them. They've done the things that they were supposed to do as far as following God's
No,
will
no,
and
no,
God's
no,
way.
no, no, no,
In that
no, no, no,
sense,
no, 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 no. Mm-mm. Reread that. And the
let me go
rebuke
back.
of his people shall be taken away from off all the earth. That means it currently exists. There's some form of shame to the point of correction in it. No one said, and I didn't say that that correction was accurate, just saying that that's what it does. So, what shame to the point of correction would the children of Israel have been dealing with, and including the Gentiles at the end times, would they have been dealing with that would be taken off of them by seeing God swallow up victory, by seeing God do all this, wipe away their tears and all that?
Whatever sins they were doing is what I'm thinking of. Whatever sins they were struggling with is what I'm
Charles,
thinking of.
no. All right, I'm
Then
just going to tell it to you. It's the
yeah, go ahead.
fact that because you're not looking at the scenario, you're thinking of stuff that has to do with correction from God. I just told you, what did I just say? Does the correction have to be accurate?
No,
So then, if the correction doesn't have to be accurate, is it specific to sin?
then no, it could have been anything. It could have been any. It could have been lies on people's names. It could have been the way you lived your life. It
Exactly.
could have been all kinds of other
So,
things.
so I'm going to ask you the question again. What rebuke would God's people be dealing with that God Himself would take it away just by showing up and wiping away their tears?
The hardships they were dealing with because they follow God's will and God's way. Lies on their name. What other things could you deal with in that time period? In both time
People
periods.
calling them foolish for believing in God, all that stuff as well. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Okay.
Writing it down too.
Because there's only one rebuke that actually is taken away by God showing up. It's everybody saying you're dumb for following. That's it. You don't have any rebuke from anything else. Why would you do it that way? What are you trying to pull? That doesn't exist. The only thing that gets taken away by the very existence of God being proven is the shame from people trying to say he's not. Do you want me to wait?
Yeah, wait a sec. We're gonna get these passenger cars out of here, and then we'll give you room to go. All right.
I got you. All right, so that's it for that section. Now continue on, Charles.
Verse 9. And it shall be said in that day, Lo, this is our God. We have waited for him, and he will save us. This is the Lord. We have waited for him. We will be glad and rejoice in his salvation. So in 9, I'm just imagining a bunch of people looking up and saying these exact words. God's going to save us. This is the one we've been waiting for. This is the one we've been, we did everything. We lived our lives for this God right here, the one true God. He's here. Oh, glory.
That's why you should have known the answer, Charles.
You mean the last one?
Yeah, the question I asked you. That's why you should have known the answer. And it shall be said in that day, Lo, this is our God. We have waited for him. This is what I'm telling you all the time about looking at the context. There should have been no confusion about what rebuke is. Yep.
We're just going to clear all these little cars out first, so you guys have the room to back up, all right?
Yeah, you good. I'm just in a Bible study. I might as well park. Since I got to wait on that. That works out. Gives us time to finish. All right. So, with that being said, that's why you should have known, Charles. Do you see what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying, but I guarantee you, I hear what you're saying. It was one of
If
those
you would have
things
looked
where
at
I
the
wasn't
context, well, because you didn't look at the full context.
right.
If you would have looked at the context where it says the rebuke of the people is taken away, and after, because I'm not saying from the beginning because you didn't know what rebuke meant. After knowing rebuke means the shame to the point of correction, and I pointed out it doesn't have to be accurate. If you would have looked at 8 and 9, you would have seen that. Because though 9 has somewhat of a separation, it's not fully separated. As a matter of fact, I would say it's not separated. I think you were wrong about that earlier. Because it's a continuation of what's going through in 8.
Let me fix that.
I think that slip up is why you made that mistake, because you thought they were separated. So when you look at it for the connection that it is, you see that.
That and not taking 9 into account.
Exactly. All right, Thomas, does that make sense on your side too? You get how we got there?
Right, I have my hand raised. So I was going to ask, so if you were to summarize 8 and 9 for note's sake, how would you put it?
Oh, it didn't show. Okay, so I got to make sure I check the participants
Yeah.
in the middle when we're doing questions. That's my fault. All right, so I would summarize 8 and 9 as after God has been shown up and wipes away their tears and shows the victory and everything he's doing, any shame, any disgrace, any deception against his people, where people try to claim that, oh no, you said summarize, not explain,
Yeah.
Summarize.
Yep.
I would summarize that as those who waited on God were proven right and shown not to be foolish.
All right.
Or shown that they are not foolish or were not foolish to wait on God. All right, go ahead, Charles, with 10 through 12.
There we go. Verse 10. Go to this. For in this mountain shall the hand of the Lord rest, and Moab shall be trodden down under him, even as straw is trodden for the dunghill. Self-explanatory, as in Moab's going to be stomped on when you mean trodden down.
Yep.
Imagine stomping on, just write Moab on a piece of paper, ball it up, and just start stepping on it. There you go. Then throw it in the trash. That's what you got. Verse 11.
Good.
And he shall spread forth his hands in the midst of them, as he that swimmeth spread forth his hands to swim. This is what I can't get it out of my head. You guys look up and pretend like you're swimming up, like you dove in a pool and you're swimming up. What your arms are doing, imagine that. But God is talking specific. But the most important part of it, given that
Arms?
visualization, well, what are your arms doing when you're swimming? Because it's not just your hands when you're swimming.
You sure?
Matt, who swims
What
with
does
just
it say
hands?
again?
And he
You're
shall
not
spread
thinking
forth
about
his
what the words.
hands
Oh,
in
his
the
what?
midst of them.
Did it say his
His
arms
hands.
and hands? Oh, his hands.
It said hands, but your hands
But
aren't.
when you're swimming, how do you get water to swim?
Well, when I'm swimming
I,
up, my hands are together, and then I move them down. Like you're.
no, that's not how you. What? Maybe if you're doing a breaststroke, how do normal people swim, Charles?
What do you mean? Thomas? How do you swim? Since obviously I don't swim like normal people. Go ahead, Thomas. How do you swim?
Do you put your hands
You
in
cup the
front?
water.
There you go. If you just splash your arms around and you don't have your hands cupped, reaching out for water, what happens, Charles?
I don't know. You tell me, because I'm just imagining myself swimming. I'm literally doing the movements.
You
It's
haven't
been
seen
fine for me
people
for
drown in
years.
water? You never seen a video of people drowning in water?
Yeah, because they didn't know how to swim. I'm not
What are
looking
they
at their
doing with
technique.
their arms?
They're in the water. Normally they're just someone pulled them out the water and then you perform a
Oh,
CPR to
okay,
get
so
that
you've
water up
never
out of them.
seen somebody drown in water. They're moving their arms a lot of times in the same way that other people do. But what they're not doing is they're not cupping their hands. They're not reaching out, grabbing at the water, so to speak. So when they move their hands through, it's like a knife flowing through. There's nothing caught up. That's how they end up drowning. Do you see what I'm
So let me
saying?
reread. And he shall spread forth his hands in the midst of them, as he that swimmeth spread forth his hands to swim.
Yeah. Nowhere in there did it bring up his arms. And that matters for the context. Because you're talking about a moving of your arms. He's talking about a grabbing of everything. When you go to swim, what is the goal for your hands?
Um, I don't know, because I just swim. I
That
don't
should
really know
be
the goal.
that should be straightforward. Thomas, what is the goal for your hands when you're trying to swim?
You mean as in to help move the water, to travel through the water?
Yes, to
Okay.
move as much water. That's how you propel yourself, Charles. That's how you swim. Your hands are moving as much water as possible.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
There's a car on the,
All right.
there's a car back here, right? See
Yep.
it?
Yep.
So just go straight back and then head towards.
Oh, do we not know where the owner is?
It's blocked.
Oh,
Stay in this lane until you get back there, then work your way to the middle. You get back there far enough, clear back to the green flares. There'll be someone back there to stop you, okay?
okay.
And you'll go off the off ramp.
Just curious before I go, because I'm not going to have a chance to ask later. Was the driver all right?
Yeah, as far as I know, they took him off, but he was okay. Yes.
Okay. All right, sorry about that. So Charles, that's the goal of the hands and when swimming. If you ever go to teach somebody to swim, that's the main thing you need to teach them. They need to be kicking their feet with their feet at the perpendicular, flat. Because if they're at an angle instead of flat, you're going to get a different push of the water. So when they're pushing down, you're using your hands to grip or to push or force as much water as you can at once. And you're using your legs to force your body to kick upwards.
Right.
So when it says spreading forth his hands as a swimmer does to swim, he's widening his hands to get as much in them as possible. In other words, you're not discriminating. You're not picking out pieces. You're just getting it all taken out. This is an expression of totality, not an expression of arm movement or flailing around.
Writing this down.
Yeah, no problem.
So he's using the expression of totality when he's talking about bringing down their pride together with the spoils of their hand, bringing down all of that stuff. Then, in a sense,
No, because it says in the midst of them. It's not the pride that he's spreading around. In the midst of them, that's the people. Does that make sense?
visualizing it, yeah, that makes sense. But then I have to, because I have to explain how that goes with the end part, and he shall bring down their pride together with the spoils of their hands.
Yeah. So if he's going and he's just spreading out his hands to snatch as much as he can, and then from there, their pride is affected. Well, if God is destroying everything, then what's left of the pride? I mean, what's left to be proud of?
Nothing.
See what you get it now?
Spreading his hands forth to where there's no pride left to be. There's nothing left as far as the pride aspect goes.
Yeah, because he's taking everybody out. There's nobody's getting away. Spread forth in the same way that you move water when you're swimming.
Just writing this down.
Hey, you're good.
And then verse 12. And the fortress of the high fort of thy wall shall he bring down, lay low, and bring to the ground, even to the dust. Fortress of the high fort of thy walls. So just bringing that down into dust, bringing it down, breaking it down. I could just imagine somebody like I brought up the visualization of the Lego thing I brought up last time. I can imagine like this Lego piece here, kicking it down, breaking it down, stomping it all over till it's just pieces and dust.
Exactly.
That's all I got.
Good. So not only is their pride in the fact of what they built brought down, pride in who they are, but even the pride in their defense. There's nothing. That's the point. All right. Good. Thomas, do you understand how that makes it that way? Does that make sense too?
Yeah, what was that last part you said? Your pride of their
All
defense.
whether it's the pride in their people the pride in their stuff or the pride in their defense. All forms of pride are being brought down to nothing.
All right.
All right, now I'll go ahead and switch it to the second section so our next reader can read. But does anybody have any comments or questions about the first section? Now would be the time to raise your hands. All right. Then Thomas, go ahead and read when you're ready.
All right. I'll be reading Isaiah chapter 26, verses 1 through 5. I'll give it a couple seconds. O Lord, thou art my God. I will exalt thee. I will praise thy name, for thou hast done wonderful things. Thy counsels of old are faithfulness and truth. For thou hast made of a city an heap, of a defective city a ruin, a place of strangers to be no city. It shall never be built. Therefore
Hey,
shall the
Thomas,
strong.
I didn't mean to cut you off. You reading Isaiah chapter 26, right?
Yeah, I
Oh,
was
my
about to
bad.
say.
Thanks, man. Y'all just gonna let me get 3 verses deep and
Well, I had to double check it because I'm like, what? I
yeah,
thought I was on the
I'm
wrong
looking at the
chapter.
Bible.
Yeah,
My bad.
you good? You
All
good?
right, starting over. Isaiah chapter 26, verses 1 through 5. Verse 1. In that day shall this song be sung in the land of Judah. We have a strong city. Salvation will God appoint for walls and bulwarks. Hold on, bulwarks? That sounds weird. Correct me if I'm saying that wrong. Bulwarks?
No, bulwarks.
Bulwarks. Okay, I never heard of that. Let me just start over. Verse 1. In that day shall this song be sung in the land of Judah. We have a strong city. Salvation will God appoint for walls and bulwarks. Open ye the gates, that the righteous nation which keepeth the truth may enter it. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee. Trust ye in the Lord forever. For in the Lord Jehovah is everlasting strength. For he bringeth down them that dwell in high, the lofty city. He layeth it low. He layeth it low, even to the ground. He bringeth it even to the dust. All right. Let me see if this connects. Okay, so this is not connecting to 12. I mean to the previous chapter, first section.
Yes and no. It is not connected in the essence of it's a new section. It is connected because it says in that day. So we're still talking about the same time frame.
So how would you go about that? Could you say yes and no? Like, how do we do that?
I would say keep in mind what we read, but look at it as if it's a separate detail.
Hold on one second. Let me write this down. All right, so keep in mind
This
what
is
we
an
read, but look at
example
it as
where the
separate
tree
detail.
connects, but not the branch.
Okay. Okay, so keep in mind what we read because this is added detail.
Exactly.
Okay. Hold on one second. So yes and no for one being a connection. Then let me look at the rest of the verses here.
Well, this is one of those ones where we were saying before where it's technically connected, but it's still its own thing.
You keep throwing me through a loop with that one, man. I need a yes or no. I'm just kidding, but I understand.
You're funny.
Give me one sec.
Mhm.
Okay, so hold on. Open ye the gate, that the righteous nation which keepeth the truth may enter it. So we got that taking place. And then it says, thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee. Okay, so two sounds like it's separate. So we got
Ah,
one and two together. No, actually one and two together. And then hold on. Thou will keep him in a perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusted in thee. Trust ye in the Lord forever, for in the Lord Jehovah is everlasting strength. For he bringeth down them that dwell on the high, the lofty city. He layeth it low. He layeth it low, even to the ground. He bringeth even to the dust. So we got one and two, three and four, and then five by itself.
nope. But good try though. So
Okay.
one is by itself because even though it's bringing up the day and that God appointed the salvation, it's literally only talking about that. But in two, are we talking about the gates and salvation, or what are we talking about? What's the main focus of subject?
We're talking about the righteous, the being able
Yeah,
to enter.
and
Okay, I
that's
see
the
what you're saying.
people, right?
Should have
And
just
then
stuck
what
with
are we
my
talking
first
about in
choice.
three?
Keeping them in perfect peace of people whose mind is focused on God.
Keeping who? Yeah.
God.
So who is that then?
You're talking about the followers, the children of Israel, the ones who believe. Is that what you're
Yeah,
asking?
but no. Okay, that would be the righteous.
Right, just gotcha.
So we're still talking about the righteous people. So in two and three, we're talking about the righteous people.
Mm-hmm.
Then look at four.
Trust ye in the Lord of forever, for in the Lord Jehovah is everlasting strength. So they're
So
just
where's the main focus on that? Is it on the people?
trusting in the Lord.
Exactly.
Yo,
It's the
okay.
mentality that's the focus.
Okay, so two and three together, and four is
And then let's look at
not
five.
connected. All right. For he bringeth down them that dwell on high, the lofty city. He layeth it low. He layeth it low, even to the ground. He bringeth it even to the dust. So we have one, two, and three, four by itself, and five by itself.
No? What's the first word in five?
For he bringeth, for
Four,
he,
he bring it.
oh, still talking about God. Okay.
Yeah, well, but you should have known that also because what's the last thing that's in four? The last item.
Everlasting strength.
No, what's after the word strength?
Oh, continuation. So it goes in to speak about the Lord, and
No, what is that after this word strength? There's something after it.
I said continuation.
That yeah, you're not answering the question. What is that? There's something after the word strength. There's a punctuation there, Thomas. A colon. There's a colon there, Thomas. After the word strength.
Oh, my bad.
That's how we know it's part of it. In part. Not just what's said, but that we have that punctuation. It's connected. At least a little. But when we read five and we see four, so we said, oh, so now we're saying because of everything in five. That's why we should trust Jehovah. Does that make sense?
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
All right, go ahead with your explanation then.
Hold on, let me just write this down. So it's 1, 2, and 3, and then 4 and 5. All right. So verse 1, let me read it one more time. In that day shall the song be sung in the land of Judah. We have a strong city. Salvation with God appoint for walls and bulwarks. Let me see what that means. Okay. A collateral form of an army, also by analogy, an entrenchment army, bulwark, host, poor, ramped. So we're talking about an army?
No. If you're talking about just the definition, yeah.
Okay, let me go back to the text. In the days shall the song be sung in the land of Judah. We have a strong city of salvation. Salvation will God appoint for walls and bulwarks.
Bulwarks, not bulwark.
Bulwarks. Salvation will God appoint for walls and bulwarks. So pretty much salvation is I would say as a replacement for the walls and bulwarks. So he took
Bulwarks.
bulwarks. So previously he tore down the walls, the highs. Let me go back to that real quick. The fortresses, forts, and then it's saying here salvation will God appoint for those walls that were torn down and the bulwarks.
Nope. You're forgetting who it wasn't. It wasn't Judah's. It was somebody else's fortress. You're connecting something that's
Moab's.
not connected. Mm-hmm. So here we're talking about for Judah. And we just said bulwarks means an army, right?
Yeah,
Well, what does a wall do?
it protects it, keeps you
Yeah.
enclosed. Okay.
And what does an army do that a wall doesn't?
Sorry, say that one more time.
What does a army do that a wall does not?
You mean as a regarding to attack,
Oh.
protect?
Yeah, that's it. Attack. A wall
Okay.
protects, it only protects.
Yeah.
But what does an army do? An army can not only protect, but it can attack. So salvation will God appoint for walls and for an army.
Mm.
So
to
our
protect and attack
salvation,
aspects.
exactly. Our salvation is what is not only going to protect us, but is going to be what is attacking the enemy. The very aspect of our salvation.
1 second, let me write this down.
Mm-hmm. And Charles, do you get that too?
I'm writing it down now.
All right.
Okay. That's why in the days shall this song be sung in the land of Judah. Oh, we got a strong city. I get it now. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Then 2 and 3. Read that one more time. Open ye the gates, that the righteous nation which keepeth the truth may enter in. Thou will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee. So verse 2, we have the gates being open for the righteous, where they may so they'll be able to enter. And then in 3,
Oh, 35.
what's up?
No, you're good. You're good. I was reading the. We've all been speeding, and I didn't know until just now.
Okay. That will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee. So then we go into talking about how the people whose mind is stayed on God, they will be kept in perfect peace because they trust in
Exactly.
God. So let me write that down
Exactly.
real quick.
Well, not just trust in him.
Obey, trust.
Well, no. The trust is good, but the part that I would say needs to be adjusted a little bit is the way you brought up those that stay on thee. What does it mean by that?
The same aspect of salvation, living out that life. It's a lifestyle.
No,
Doing it. Go ahead.
no, not salvation. Where did it say salvation?
So those who stay in God, like
Thou will keep
every,
him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee.
so they're always thinking about God and what He wants and how He wants things.
Not
Just the
just
way they
that.
go on.
If you're only thinking about what God wants, how does that give you peace?
So it's in the way they operate, living a life like Jesus.
So it's neither is separate, it's both.
Gotcha.
Because if you're because you got to bring up works, because that's what it's saying. You will keep him in perfect peace. So if you stay right by God, focused on him, God will keep you in perfect peace. Well, for those at the time. And then, but honestly, I think that still works even today.
Say it one more time. You were breaking up. Matt, if you're talking, we can't hear you, bro. Right, Charles?
Yeah, I can hear you, Thomas. His went in and out.
Okay.
Let us know if you can hear us. Um. Oh no, his connection must have timed out.
Yeah.
Because for a second it didn't show any verses at all.
Right.
There we go. I lost you guys for a second.
There we go.
So what were you saying?
All right. So this is both, Thomas.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Anything?
No.
No. If you keep
Oh,
your
it's
mind
it's
on
in and
him.
out again. It's in and out again. Repeat that.
Okay, if you trust in God, do you worry about anything? No. If you're keeping your mind on him, does he take care of you? Yes. So if you are one of those, don't you stay in perfect peace?
So
Does that make sense?
so trusting in Him and also keeping your mind on Him.
Exactly. Well, keeping your mind focused on him is part of
Focus on Him.
trusting him. How can you trust him if you're not even focused on him? You'll let the things of the world creep in.
So when you say it's both, what are the two?
One, that God will impact your life if you're focused on him and following him, and that will create a level of peace. And two, having the basic understanding of who God is, you're not worried about anything anyways. So your peace is perfected not just in your mind, but also in the impact on your life.
I'm sorry for all the note takers.
You're fine.
No,
This
bro,
is
you
what
said
Bible
too
study is
much.
for.
Too
Oh,
fast.
okay. Let me simplify it. You just got to ask for a simplification. If you need it simplified, focusing on God makes you have faith and trust in Him. So, here's how I'll simplify it. If you focus on God, you're not worried about anything. And if you focus on God, God is on your side. So you're not worried about anything. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right, and Charles, you got that too?
Yeah, I got it down.
All right. Then go ahead and continue with the last one, Thomas.
Trust ye in the Lord forever. For in the Lord Jehovah is okay. So we were speaking earlier how five is pretty much giving the reasoning on why you should trust in the Lord. So let me go jump to 5 real quick. For he bringeth
4
down
and
them.
5.
Yeah. For he bringeth down them that dwell on high, the lofty city. He layeth it low. He layeth it low, even to the ground. He bringeth it even to the dust. So trust in the Lord forever, for in the Lord, for in the Lord Jehovah is everlasting strength.
Oh no, what are you reading? That's not 5.
What happened?
Oh, what were you reading after dust? That was
Oh, I
you
went back to
past it.
4. I went back to 4.
Oh, okay. Good. All right.
So,
So what does that
go
mean?
ahead.
So what does that mean? 4 and 5.
So, the hold on. So the tearing down of the lofty city and bringing it to dust.
What is lofty
Those are
used to metaphorically talk about all the time in the Bible? Anything that's
the
high up.
yeah. Okay.
So then that's not talking about high up as in location. It's
It's
talking about high
about
up as in pride.
yeah. Yeah. So by him tearing down the prideful cities and all the things of the such and bringing it down to dust, the people who thought they were untouchable, people thought they were just so high and mighty, he's bringing us dust. So going back to 4, who else should you be believing in other than Lord Jehovah, the everlasting strength? He's
Close,
strong.
but not quite. It's saying it.
You're breaking up.
Yeah, man, you're
That's
still
not
breaking up.
because you could. Oh, how about now?
Try it
All I
now.
heard was close, but not quite.
Okay, how about now?
It's
Nah.
still going in and out.
Okay,
I can hear
how
Thomas
about now?
clearly, but you're going there. There you go. That's a little clearer.
And he's gone.
Yeah, you're moving, huh, Matt?
But he bringeth down them that dwell on high, the lofty city. He layeth
Yeah.
it low. Ground bringeth it
You're
even
still
to the
going
dust.
too, Matt. And now my verses are getting blurry.
So I'm thinking,
Yep, there it is. There it is.
I ain't never been the host.
Oh man. Here we go. Hopefully.
Okay, it brought me back. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, there we go.
Okay,
Okay,
so
let me
Matt,
say it before I lose signal. This is saying it's not because just because you're strong doesn't mean you actually do the right thing. This is saying you can trust God because he does it.
Mm.
God is trustworthy in an empty city at all. It's about the fact that God does bring them down. And this is not talking about a specific city. This is talking about concept. Does that make sense?
The concept, yep.
So, that's another reason to trust in him. God doesn't allow the prideful to succeed. So if you're dealing with somebody and they're having a leg up on you, don't think it's going to last forever. Don't worry about it lasting forever. Now, do you guys have any comments or questions before we go to the final section? Now would be the time to raise your hands. All right, then, Charles, go ahead and finish this out for the Bible study portion.
All right, I'll be reading Isaiah chapter 26, verses 6 to 10. Verse 6. The foot shall tread it down, even the feet of the poor, and the steps of the needy. The way of the just is uprightness. Thou, most upright, dost weigh the path of the just. Yea, in the way of thy judgments, O Lord, have we waited for thee. The desire of our
You read
soul
that
is
wrong.
the
When
whole
you
thing, or
said
just
thou
a
most upright,
back to 7.
I mean, that should have been pretty clear, but I understand it's not thou most upright. He's talking about somebody, describing them, talking about God more specifically, but you should have caught that. But because you
Oh, I
didn't
thought I
pause
put the
properly, no, you said most upright. You didn't give it the emphasis point that's making. You made it
let me
sound like it's talking about a group rather than an individual. This is talking about God, the
let me try it
most
again.
upright. Yep.
All right, let me try it again. Verse 6. The foot shall tread it down, even the feet of the poor, and the steps of the needy. The way of the just is uprightness. Thou, most upright, dost weigh the path of the just. Yea, in the way of thy judgments, O Lord, have we waited for thee. The desire of our soul is to thy name and to the remembrance of thee. With my soul have I desired thee in the night. Yea, with my spirit within me will I seek thee early. For when thy judgments are in the earth, the inhabitants of the world will learn righteousness. Let favor be showed to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. In the land of uprightness will he deal unjustly,
Read that
and
wrong.
will
Let favor be
there,
shown to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. You read it as it was a continuation of a statement, but that's a sarcastic tone, the way it's written. You can tell because is it saying that the wicked's learning?
no, he's not learning.
Exactly. That should have been your cue for it. So you should have paused after and reread that part. And
Let me
look at
reread
from the
10.
beginning. The whole thing is the voice of somebody pleading with God, not for a request, but just expressing themselves in that type of notion. With my soul have I desired thee in the night. Yea, with my soul within me will I seek thee early. You know where we see that type of wording in today's day and age, Charles?
Oh, go ahead.
Where do we see that type of wording when a man is trying to express his desire for a woman? I've been longing for you with my soul in the nighttime, with my spirit within me. That's where we see that type of thing today. Same concept. He's expressing his desire for God in his life, and now he's waited for the day when this would all take place. I've been waiting on this. I go ahead and retry.
From the whole thing or just 9 and 10?
From 9.
Okay. Give me a second. All right, verse 9. With my soul have I desired thee in the night. Yea, with my spirit within me will I seek thee early. For when thy judgments are in the earth, the inhabitants of the world will learn righteousness. Let favor be shown to the wicked. Yet will he not learn righteousness. In the land of uprightness will he deal unjustly, and will not behold the majesty of the Lord. You want me to try that again, or no? That was
No, that
good
was
enough.
perfect.
Okay,
That was one of the best you've ever done.
all right.
I don't know, Thomas, what you think?
A lot better.
So good. But you notice how when you took that tone, you read it correctly. 9 was not as confusing. I mean, 10 was not as confusing when it got to that part with the wicked. You see what I'm saying,
Rereading it
Charles?
changes. It's changing my mind on when I have to explain it. That's for sure.
Exactly.
So when I explain it, I'll be thinking about that sarcasm.
Mm-hmm.
So for minds, let me reread because we got into Thomas's section when he was going to bring down the high and the lofty, like the pride, bring them down to dust. And then we got to verse 6. The foot shall tread it down, even the feet of the poor and the steps of the needy. um, to me, it sounds like it's part of it.
Yep.
Could be wrong, but it sounds like it's part of it.
No, it is.
So yeah, 6 is part of the
But you
last
should be
section.
able to know it is, not guess it in that one, because of the word it. The foot
That's what
shall
made me
tread
think
it
of it.
down.
Yeah, that's what made me think it was together because it was just a broad term with that. We didn't
Well,
get
no,
specific
what
in
I'm
verse
saying is
6.
you can't be that. That's not a debatable thing. When you say I could be wrong, not it. That's not possible in this sentence. It has to be part of it. Well, there's no other option. You see what I'm saying?
Because of the last section, and I would have to add because of what happens after, right? How we ended at verse 6, and there's nothing else to get into from verse 6 and beyond. We're in a new section with verse 7. Wouldn't I have to say that as well? Part of the rest of the context would help me determine.
No, because in order for it to say the foot tread it down, okay, what's the it? It doesn't matter what comes after. In this specific instance, it doesn't matter what comes after because we don't know what the it is. The foot tread it down. So we'd have to go to the past verses and see what's the it that's
What's
being
the
treaded
it?
down.
Yeah. That's what made me think it was connected, like a high chance
Yeah,
of it being connected. But I see what you're saying, how it shouldn't have been me thinking it can go both ways. It should have been a guaranteed this is connected to the
exactly.
last section. So I got, yeah, 6 connected to the last section, 6 as one section.
Good.
The way of the just is uprightness. Thou, most upright, dost weigh the path of the just. Yea, in the way of thy judgments, O Lord, have we waited for thee. The desire of our soul is to thy name and the remembrance of thee. I know 8 and 9 are together. Let me double check.
You said 8 and 9?
I was telling myself 8 and 9 are together.
No.
You got no? Okay. Because I thought 8 with 9 would be together because of how he's bringing up how we've waited for thee. We've been waiting for you. Our soul has been waiting for you. We've been
Well, you're
desiring you.
forgetting one.
Well, 7 is the one where I'm like,
Well, what is 7 talking about? What's the main focus?
let me reread. The way of the just is uprightness.
Exactly. And what is the most upright, or who's the most upright?
The ones that are upright would be the ones that, well, what, following God's will and God's way. The ones that are just.
Exactly. Now, you're forgetting what the first word in 8 is. What's the first word in 8?
Yea.
And what is that word used for in the Bible?
That I completely forgot.
Yea is an expression of confirmation. Figure an example, like if somebody was like, we're going to the store. Yeah, we're going to the store. It's an expression of determination, but it's in agreement with something like that. Just the same way as nay would be used the same if it was in here.
Oh, like, okay, let me try to reread this so I can, because I like the example you just used. The way of the just is uprightness. Thou, most upright, dost weigh the path of the just. Yea, in the way of thy judgments, O Lord, have we waited for thee. It would be like that,
Exactly.
right? Or did I read that wrong?
Exactly. No, that was perfect. Exactly.
Okay. So you put them together. 7, so 7 and 8 you're putting together.
Yeah.
Got it. So we got 6, we have 7 and 8. Well, no, 9 would, yeah, you could separate 9 because 9 goes because
Yeah.
8 goes from we to
No.
9 goes to I. Because I was thinking about putting them together because to me 8 and 9
It
go
is together.
Yeah, 8 and 9 was together, but so
That's
7,
what
8, 9.
your problem was. You were leaving out 7.
I was leaving out 7. 7, 8, 9.
Exactly.
Let me reread 9 real quick. With my soul have I desired thee in the night. Yea, with my spirit within me will I seek thee early. For when thy judgments are in the earth, the inhabitants of the world will learn righteousness. Let favor be showed to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. In the land of uprightness will he deal unjustly.
You took out the sarcasm.
Oh, that my bad. I was trying to do sarcasm with that. Let me try
That
to.
was sarcastic sounding. Let favor be shown to the wicked, yet he will not learn righteousness.
I have to. Okay, because of the way 9 is and the way 10 is, we have 9 with those that are righteous, that are doing, following God's judgments, the righteous versus those who wouldn't follow it, even if they were given favors. They're not going to learn righteousness. They're not going to do righteousness. They're not going to do the right thing.
Exactly.
We have
So
9
is
being
10
like the
part of-
coin. So the 10 is part of. So it'd be 7, 8, 9, 10. So 6 is one section, and then 7 to 10 would be the second section.
Nope.
You would separate 10 from 9?
Well, what are we talking about in 7 through 9?
That following basically uprightness, being righteous, following God's righteousness, following God's will and way.
Nope.
And the desire for that. Wait, I thought we were just talking about.
What is 7 through 9 talking about generically? They all have one thing in common. And it's not as generic as the righteous. It's more specific than that.
Is it in acknowledgement of the Lord's judgment
Nope.
and righteousness?
It's that they've been waiting on God to come.
Mm.
7, 8, and 9, all three have one thing in common. They've all worked together. It's saying that the righteous has been waiting for God so that he could establish righteousness on earth. Does that make sense, Charles?
Let me reread to get that. The way of the just is uprightness. Thou, most upright, does weigh the path of the just. Because I get it in 9, and I get it
Well,
in
even in
8.
7, the way of the just is uprightness. So the way that the just lives is based on uprightness. But you, the most upright, you weigh the path of the just. Yea, in the way of thy judgments, O Lord, have we waited for thee. So the just has been waiting for the most just to weigh the path and to establish it on earth. Does that make sense? Do you get that now, Charles?
I got to remember that's the continuation. I keep separating them in my head. Yeah, I get it because they're it was that continuation which you brought up with yay and how yay is used.
Exactly.
I keep
This
separating
is
in my
why
head.
it's
Yeah.
so important to have the sections properly determined. Now, do you see why I had you guys go back to figuring out sections?
Yes.
And
Yes, I
Thomas, does
do.
that make a little more sense now? Thomas,
Yeah,
got to unmute.
my bad.
Okay,
So
there
I
you go.
have down the righteous has been waiting on God to establish judgment on the earth.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Good.
And the part
That's
with the
also why we. Yeah, go ahead and send.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I was gonna say that was the why you have to do the sections because we can flip the context if we don't get these sections right. It could be flipped. I see what you're saying and why we went it this way. Uh-oh.
All right,
Are you
say that
still
one more
there?
time. I lost you again.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
okay.
here now.
No, I was just saying that I understand why we went this way with the sections and how the context could have been flipped upside down. It could be flipped upside down if we don't do it this way. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Exactly. That's why it's so important. You have to make sure you understand how to section off each portion of context. Because if you don't, you got a whole different meaning. So you have to look at what's connected and what's not first. Then you can go into the rest of it. And with all that in mind, knowing what's happening in 7 through 9, is it the same context point in verse 10?
No, no, because when I brought up 10, 10 is like I brought up 10 as how no matter what you do for the wicked. Oh wait, you were saying something, my bad.
No, no, that's it.
Oh,
I
okay.
was just
Yeah, yeah,
waiting for
yeah,
your
yeah.
answer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, so 10, 10 was different. Write this down. 10 was different. So we have 6, 7 through 9, and 10. Go ahead and start doing verse 6. Uh-oh. I hope my Thomas, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, if you're saying something, Matt, I can't hear you. Connection. Connection must be bad. Yeah, yeah, that connection's bad.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, good.
Now,
All right,
do I go?
so Reese said, why isn't
Every time you get back on, the connection keeps dying. It's crazy. I think you
I
just
lost it.
asked me a question though.
Yeah, redo 10, so I know why is that you understand why it's not connected.
So when I brought up 10 earlier, I was talking about how no matter what you show the wicked, if the wicked are show favor, no matter what the wicked are doing, they're gonna do unrighteousness. They're not gonna live God's way. They're not gonna live righteously on the earth. It's just that's just what it is. They're not gonna do it.
Good.
Verse
Exactly.
versus those who've been waiting, who's been living for God, who's been waiting for God, who's been doing all of these things. You have the 7 through 9 who've been waiting for God, living for God, versus the wicked who just they're gonna do whatever, no matter whether you show favor or not. I hope you got all. I hope you heard all that.
Yeah, I heard all that. Good.
Cool. So
All right.
start explaining verse 6 now.
Yep.
So 6, still that continuation. The foot shall tread it down. What are we treading down? The lofty, the ones that dwell on high. So we're talking pride. Wasn't the lofty like the prideful, the arrogant, prideful?
Yeah, the prideful. Yes.
Prideful. Yeah. So now we got the poor and the needy just stomping all over it.
Exactly.
Next, the way of the just is uprightness. I just wrote that down. When you say the way of the just is uprightness, the way of the people that are living for God, that's the uprightness. Those are the following God's will, God's way.
No.
The way of the just. Wouldn't the just be righteousness?
The way of the just.
Yeah, it's cutting out again.
There we go. How about now?
I got you.
All right. The way of the just is uprightness. So what's it saying?
So when you say the way of the just, so the way of righteousness, the way of righteous, just righteous ways, God's way, God's will. That's the uprightness.
No, Charles. The just is the just people. People who are just.
I thought I said that earlier.
No,
What's
because
the difference
what
between
you
just
said,
people and righteous
what
people?
you said earlier is that wait, how did you phrase it? You said the people are righteous. You didn't say the just. You said the just people are righteous. That's not saying what it's saying. What it's saying is that the way they live is righteous. The way of the just. Does that make sense?
So I would have to say the way they're living is righteous, not righteous people living righteously. No, I'd have to leave it at the way people are living are righteous.
Say that again.
The way that people are living they're living a righteous way.
Okay, did it say people or just?
It said just.
So can you say people generically? Are all people just, Charles?
I would have to say the righteous people if I'm going to say the just.
There you go. So the righteous people, and then what else?
The way of the just is uprightness.
Okay.
Semicolon. Thou most upright.
Hold on, you haven't explained it. You just reread it. You didn't explain it.
Oh, I thought you wanted me to continue.
No, I wanted you to explain it. You haven't explained it properly, showing me you understand what it's saying.
Isn't it? I thought it was saying the way of the just, which would be righteous people. And when you're saying it's uprightness, I thought it's just another way of saying righteous. Unless I got that word wrong.
What is the way of something? What is the way of something?
Up towards.
No. What?
What do you mean up something? What do you mean? What is the
The
way
way
of
of
something?
water means towards water, Charles. The way of
Go ahead.
television means towards television. Is that what that means?
Go ahead then.
No.
I got the definition
It
wrong.
means the way it works, the way they move, the way how it goes. how it
So
does
that's
things.
uprightness.
The way of the just is uprightness. So you have the just, and you have the way they do things is uprightness.
I'm trying to figure out how's it different from what I said earlier.
You said the just are righteous. It's different. One is talking about their character, and the other is talking about how they proceed to do things. That's not the same thing.
But didn't I,
Can you
Thomas?
be
Did you hear
can
me?
you be
Tom, go ahead. No, go ahead, Matt. Go ahead, Matt.
can you be righteous overall generically, but still go about things in a sinful way or in an unjust way? Like
You would have to be
overall, you're
right.
trying to do the right thing, but you go
Overall,
about
you're trying to
things
do the
in
right
wrong
thing,
way.
but you might like a struggle or something, a mistake.
That's the difference. If I say that the just are righteous, then that's talking about their character or their state of salvation. It could go either way. But if I say the way of the just is righteous, I'm talking about how they go about doing things, the ways that they choose their actions. I'll give you an example. If I say the just are righteous, I could just be saying that the just are saved. But if I say the way of the just is righteousness, I'm saying that when a just person goes to place a bet in a gambling hall, they don't cheat and look for schemes or loopholes to get better odds. They try to do it the right way. Does that make sense?
Writing this down. Can I throw another example out there to help me understand this?
Yeah.
So when you say, yeah, in the way no, the
Not
way
in
of
the
the
way.
just. Yeah, the way of the just, when you're doing something, let's say there's two women that you were trying to figure out which one is going to be my wife. I'm not going to sleep around with them and do this with them and keep them around, both of them around, trying to figure out which one's my wife. I'll talk to them, I'll date them, and we'll figure that out, but I'm going to do it in the right way. I'm not going to do it in the way where I'm lying to them, I'm scheming, and I'm, trying to weed one
Honestly,
out
you were
and
already
go
wrong
over the
off the
other.
bat when you said two women because you didn't bring up that they know that you're talking to both of them.
Oh,
That's not the
let me
right
add
thing to
that then.
do. No, I'll give you a better example. A better example is if you have three kids, a just person is going to treat them based on how they behave, not play favorites.
Okay.
See, the difference between the just being righteous and the way of the just being righteous is just because I'm righteous as well doesn't mean that I treat you that way. It means that I am. So if I'm playing favorites, I may be a righteous person. I may be saved. But that doesn't mean I'm doing right there. So by saying the way of the just is righteous, it means how I go about everything. The way that I do things is also done in uprightness. So that's the difference between what you said. What you said was that they are righteous. This is not talking about what they are. This is talking about how they behave and how they make their decisions. Their whole mentality, in other words. Does that make sense?
I'm writing that down, the difference. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. And I would write down whenever you see the way of something, a way is how something's done. That's why it should have been straightforward on that part to you, Charles. The fact that you said to or towards, that makes no sense. You're thinking about it as in a pathway. But even if you were to use the pathway in biblical standards, is it literally talking about a pathway or metaphorically?
Now I'm thrown off because I brought that up when you brought up the what is up. When you earlier, I heard you say what is up for the uprighteous.
I said, even if you were talking about pathway, if it was in biblical standard, the way the Bible uses the term pathway, we're still talking about how they walk. But is a walk a literal walk in the Bible, Charles? Or is it a
Just a
metaphorical for how they live?
metaphorical for what you're doing, how you living.
Exactly. My point is it would work the same way there. So if you took pathway and made the mistake of directional, saying the pathway of the just, oh, the direction of the just are righteous. No, it said the pathway of the just. How the just move, in other words.
How they're doing things.
Exactly. On either side, it would be the same answer.
Yeah, I got that, and I got the difference versus what I said versus what the answer was, what you just said.
Yeah, because the difference is that it adds the part the way of. If it didn't have the way of, then we'd be talking about their character. The fact that it has the words the way of is how we know we're talking about not the character, but how they move, how they live, how they do things.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get that too, Thomas?
Yes.
All right. Now go ahead and continue, Charles, with 8. Why'd you mute yourself? Did you have to phlegm or something?
Did you hear me say, "Give me a second"?
No, I said like give me a.
Yeah, I heard you.
Oh, give me a second. Give me a couple more seconds, actually.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm still coughing and sneezing that mucus. Verse 8. Yea, in the way of thy judgments, O Lord, have we waited for thee. Well, before I even continue, yea, in the way of thy judgments, O Lord, have we waited for thee. So back to the way of thy judgment. So again, there that mentality, that decisions, like how you're doing things. He's talking about how people have been waiting for God, which of course we're talking about those that were loyal to God. They've been waiting for God. In that, like, how do I get this out? They've been waiting for him. So that way you guys can understand it, because I'm not getting it out right. Ah. So basically, Matt, what he's saying here is he would not he while they were waiting for God, they were waiting for God in this what we brought up, like that in the way of thy judgment. So doing things like their mentality and the decisions and doing it the right way.
I would specify judgments in this case. Because the right way according to whom? Now, if you were to say the right way according to God's judgment or according to God, then you'd be okay. But you can't just say right way generically. Because the right way according to who? Who decides that?
According to
what I'm
God's
saying?
judgments. Yeah. The right way according to God's judgments. Right.
And this
You
is
can't
very
just throw a
important
blanket
because it
statement out.
proves a point. It proves the point that fake Christians aren't going to heaven. Do you understand how?
Because fake Christians wasn't doing it the right way in context, how they're supposed to.
Exactly. They're not doing it the right way according to God's judgments. And this is pointing out how the just live. And how do the just live? While they were waiting for God to show, they were living to the best of their ability according to how God's judgments worked. So if I'm living to the best of my ability according to how God's judgment works, Then Thomas, am I making loopholes to live how I want?
No.
You see what I'm saying?
And
So
I'm
that's
writing
the
that
point.
down. That's a way better way to say it. I was trying to get that out. That's a way better way to say it. While
Hmm.
waiting for God to show, while living according to God's judgments in your best ability. And the example of how fake Christians, an example of how fake Christians would be going, because they're not trying to live according to God's judgments, God's will, and God's way. They're the ones
Yeah,
looking for
they're
the
trying to make
loopholes. They're
God's
the ones
judgments
doing all
fit
the
them rather than
yeah,
living in the way of his judgments.
yeah.
That's why the way of and understanding what that means matters so much here. Because when you consider that, if it's in the way of God's judgments, remember what in the way of means, how it works, how it moves. So if I'm living in the way or how God's judgments work, I'm not looking for loopholes. You see what I'm saying?
hmm I'm writing it all down too.
Hmm.
It's interesting how you threw that in there.
What part?
Fake Christians and loopholes.
Oh yeah.
You
Well,
have an
the
interesting way of
loophole,
doing
the,
that.
the whole loophole thing, bro, is just dumb because it proves you're not a follower of God and never were.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who we're talking about. This is such a self-evident concept because, Charles, if I'm supposed to be a disciple of you, then am I taking what you teach me and trying to fit it to my mold, or am I trying to see the point you're making and fitting me to your mold?
Say that again. Maybe my phone was going in and out. Say that one more time.
Okay, so if I'm your disciple, am I trying to take what you teach me and fit it to how I want? Or am I trying to take what you teach me and make myself fit to what you teach me?
Fit to what I'm trying to teach you, not to whatever you
Exactly.
wanted to create out of it.
It's the same thing in every aspect. It's why it's such a self evident point that you're not a follower of God. If you were a follower of God, you'd be trying to fit what God has prescribed, not trying to make God fit what you want.
Got it.
Does that make sense for you too, Thomas?
Yeah, I want to post that on Facebook. How would you say it?
Yeah, that's actually good. Yeah,
If I
yeah,
wanted
that's
to
actually a
post
good
it
point.
as like a little quote or something on Facebook, what would you say?
Hey, if I was going to put it as a quote,
Mm-hmm.
you're not a follower of God if you're trying to fit God how you want rather than making yourself fit how God wants.
Hold on, let me write that down.
No, I could do better than that.
Yeah, you should just make it in the form of a question.
A true follower, no, a real follower of God changes their life to fit God's prescription. They don't try to make God fit their decision. How's that sound?
A true follower of God changes their life to fit God's prescription.
Yeah. Okay. So you can use decision twice. A true follower of God changes their life to fit God's decision. They don't try to make God fit their decision. I said prescription the first time, but some people might not catch that. You know what a prescription is, right?
Something prescribed.
Yeah, it's telling somebody how what to take or what have you, what they need to do next. So the first one was a true follower of God doesn't try to make. I mean, a true follower of God changes their life to fit God's prescription, comma, they don't try to make God fit their decision. I like it better like that, but you could use decision twice instead of prescription. A true follower of God changes their life to fit God's decision, comma, they don't try to make God fit their decision. Although I really like the prescription one better.
Got it.
All right. You got it? Read it back to me.
A true follower of God changes their life to fit God's decision. They don't try to make God fit their decision, but I'm gonna use prescription.
Yeah, doesn't prescription just sound better?
It does.
Yeah. A true this is, if it's gonna be my quote, then it's gotta be my quote. Do mine. A true follower of God changes their life to fit God's prescription. They don't try to make God fit their decision.
I like that.
And that's really what it shows here. Because think about it, we're talking about the end times still, right? We're still on that through from the end of chapter 24, I mean even 24 through 26. We're talking about the same time frame. And it's saying that the just, they have been waiting in God's judgments for God to return. So what does that mean about the ones that are not waiting in God's judgments, but in their own? So it just holds true Old Testament and New. I don't know what's with the rhymes today. Holds true Old Testament and New. All right, go ahead, Charles.
I was gonna after, well, not after, but at the end of verse 8, the desire of our soul is to thy name and to the remembrance of thee. Going back to that point, if you're the one looking for the loopholes, if you're not the one following in the right way, the way you're supposed to be following, is your soul really to God's name? Are you really keeping him in remembrance? Well, no, you're not.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. When you
Like your
when I
whole
said no, you're
desire.
not, and then
Well,
you said yeah, it threw me off just for a second, but I got you.
well, yeah, like yeah, exactly. Like your whole desire is to His name.
Yeah.
Like, well, if my whole desire is to your name, think about that from the perspective of a wife. If a woman really wants your last name, she really her whole soul's desire is your last name. Then how far would she be willing to go to change the way she behaves and how she does things to make sure that she can get you to be with her forever?
To the end of the world and back.
Exactly. And that
Which
is
is
how we can think about the soul's desire is to his name. You want to have his name on your last name. You want to, I'm sick and tired of this guy. Can't maintain speed.
which that was a great example going into verse 9. How he's describing how he feels, and the passion he has for it. You still with me?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Verse 9, with my soul have I desired thee in the night. Yea, with my spirit within me will I seek thee early. So before I continue, that extreme passion for God. I know zeal's used by, but that passion for God. Passion of I've been waiting for this. God, you know how long I've been waiting for this. I've been looking for you early. I've been doing this. I've been doing that. Trying to follow your will and way. to the end of the earth and back. And you're here, God. That's how I'm thinking
Exactly.
about it.
Well, and that's also something to take as a self-reflection. How do you wake up in the morning? Do I have to, and let me ask you guys this as a real question. Charles and then Thomas. Do you only study when we're on the phone? Do you only listen to the Bible because we have the hour a day? Or when you wake up in the morning, what is the first thing you desire to do? Where is your focal point? Charles and then Thomas.
That's a good point. I do listen to the Bible. Well, I do read the Bible and listen to it. Or other people start to talk about the word, like other it's like Christian radio talk. There's an app for that. But I will be honest, that's not the focal point in the morning. But I do listen. I do take time to listen to the Bible or read the Bible separate from what we do. But it ain't the focal point. And like when I get up in the morning, it depends. Some mornings it depends on what I had wrote down. If I'm running late, I'm thinking about me running late to something. If I wrote something down, I'm thinking about what I had wrote down in my planner.
Exactly. Thomas?
To be completely honest with you,
Mhm.
first thing I do before I even open my eyes, I say the Lord's Prayer. And then when I open my eyes, I get up and I do my daily devotional. Then afterwards, I
Nice.
read for about three to five chapters of my own personal reading. And then later, if I haven't done the reading for the listening for the Bible study, then I'll do that if I haven't done it the previous night. That's my routine every day.
Good.
Oh, I pray after the devotional, by the way. I forgot to say that.
All right. Good.
It's
Let
sometimes
me
it's
tell
hard.
you. Oh, good.
It's hard. Some days I have more effort than the others. Some days I don't even want to do it, but I just do it anyways. By trying to make it a habit, just how like showing up in Bible study, where to is second nature.
That's good.
Yeah.
And that goes to show the point too. Now, let me tell you how my day wakes up on most days. I wake up and I sit for a second and I just get my head clear, still trying to wake up, and then random. I don't start with nothing. It just depends on what's happening. There is no focus at the beginning of the day, let alone the end. And so it goes to show the point that even if you have this joy, even if you have it, there is a level of focus that everybody's different on when they first start out, or if they slip up or what have you. But we should all, and I say that as we should all be having that level of focus that Thomas has. You're doing better than me in that aspect. And I've told you guys this before. When it comes to sinning less and less, what is the way that you sin less and less? You put more focus and more effort into God. You know how you'll find yourself start to fall away? Watch the times when you put less. Watch the times when you slip up. And look at how you lived that whole week, let alone that day prior. And that's the point. So, with all that in mind, that's exactly the point. We have to make sure that we're pushing ourselves to do that. But as we see from here, once you get in that mode, it really shouldn't be a push. It really should be a desire. Like, look at the excitement of them. I get to wake up and I get to do this. I'm super happy that I get to do this. So that's just a little side note of a self-reflection for us all. In that aspect, Thomas, I got to say good job to you, because you've done a better job on that than I have.
Yeah, just like you said, man, I'm trying to make it to the point where I look forward to it. Just like Bible study. When I first started, man, I was like, oh, freaking Bible study, dude. But now I'm like, hey, let's go. I'm just trying to
Exactly.
embed that. I'm not gonna say I'm there yet, but I feel like it's growing on me for sure.
Definitely. Definitely. All right, then go ahead, Charles, and finish out with the last one.
Um, I think I still got to do the rest of nine. For when thy judgments are on the earth or in the
Oh, yeah,
earth,
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
the inhabitants of the world will learn righteousness. No, okay, let me reread. For when thy judgments are in the earth, the inhabitants of the world will learn righteousness. It's funny that that verse at the end of that says that, because there are people that literally live with God's rules but claim God doesn't exist. But you're living in His rules and you call them righteous. You call it, this is the righteous thing we're doing. But God doesn't exist. God's the one that laid the rules out first. You're
Exactly.
living in some of God's rules without even acknowledging the fact that you're living in God's rules. Okay, cool. So you think that because so God doesn't exist. So evolution exists and we came out of thin air. So these rules came out of thin air too? Is that the mindset we're
Mhm.
going with?
And not only that,
Huh. Let me
if you
highlight that
actually were
because
a
now that
logical person, you wouldn't even believe in evolution as a means of creation. It's been debunked 1,000 ways.
that is interesting. I might have to highlight that.
Huh.
For when thy judgments are on the earth, the inhabitants of the world will learn righteousness. There's the example right there.
Yeah. Ironically, it's going to be too late at that point, but you'll learn
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Well, it's funny that you said that because verse 10, let favor be showed to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness? Again, but what I brought up earlier, whether you showed favor to him, you do it or don't, he's not going to do righteousness. He's not going to learn righteousness. He's not going to go the righteous path. In the land of uprightness will he deal unjustly. Talking about how because you're not living right, what else are you going to do if you're not living righteousness? If you're not living, if you're not doing the right things, you're going to do the wrong. You're going to do the opposite. You only have two paths. You do the right or the wrong. So you're going to do the wrong and will
And
not
this
behold
goes
the
to show the
majesty of
point
God.
as this is the same type of phrasing as when we read in Proverbs where it says, argue with a fool lest you become as folly. Don't argue with a fool lest you become as folly. Those two verses are right after each other, literally right next to each other, up in first and second type. So if you don't understand the point that it's saying, if you don't speak up at all, you make the fool seem like he's telling the right thing. But if you do argue with him, then you end up looking like a fool yourself. Here, the world will learn righteousness. Everyone in the world will know what it means to be righteous, but the wicked will, excuse, but even if you give them favor, the wicked's not going to learn. They may know what righteousness is, but they're not going to learn the lesson of staying righteous. They're not going to learn that. So understanding that we've seen this type of thing before helps us to understand here what it's saying. Yeah, they're all going to know what righteousness is, but that don't mean the wicked's going to follow it. Does that make sense, Thomas and Charles?
Yeah,
Yes.
All right.
and that's it. That's all I got to say.
Now, with that in mind, does anybody have any comments, questions before we pray out the Bible study portion? I know it went a little long today with everything going on. Now would be the time to raise your hand. All right. Then, Thomas, go ahead, unmute, pray us out when you're ready. I saw you
All
click the
right.
video instead of the microphone.
All right, if you guys can bow your heads with me. Heavenly Father, we come to you today as we finish out of chapter 25 and dive into 26. There's something that really stood out to me today, and that's, yeah, we can try to lead a horse to the water, but you can't make them drink. Yeah, we can try to speak your word into people and plant that seed, but sometimes that's all that's needed. We don't need to try to force anybody because they ultimately wouldn't follow in the first place. So we allow you to change their hearts and break down that hardened heart of theirs. And we to just be stewards of your word and your willing your way for our life and do your work by planting that seed. So I pray that we continue to learn, grow, and I pray that you continue to fill us with wisdom, discernment, understanding, distinguishment, abilities to go out and do the work that you call for us. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right. One last thing I forgot to point out or didn't think about till just now. It also goes to show in the point that when we talked about reading about before about every knee bowing, every tongue confessing, yeah, that doesn't mean that they actually are trying to follow. Because here we literally have the end days and everybody knowing what righteousness is and the wicked still doing. And that, so it's interesting. It makes sense why, even if you bow your knee and say it with your tongue, even if you do at the end days, that's still not going to get you paradise. It's too late at that point when you consider that, because the wicked is still going to want to do wickedness. So when they do bow,
Uh-oh.
oh, did you guys hear me?
Back to the chopped and screwed. The last part. Repeat your last part.
Oh, so even if they do bow their knee and confess at the end of everything, there's a reason why it's too late. Because the wicked is still going to want to do wickedness, even after you've learned righteousness. So that's like why that's also an interesting point as well. All right. Now, with all that in mind, oh, okay. So you guys, we did the Second Chronicles 8 to 20, but I remember we had to cancel yesterday because of everything that was happening and the signal issue. We couldn't do it. So tonight's Bible study, I'm not Bible study, Bible listening is Second Chronicles chapter 21 to 33. Again, Second Chronicles chapter 21 to 33. And let me know if y'all got when y'all got it.
I got it.
Got it.
All right. Now, obviously, since I'm driving, I can't do mine. But Thomas will go first, and Charles with last night or the night before last night's Second Chronicles chapter 8 to chapter 20. And mind you, before you get started, I just have to say this. It has been a crazy week for these situations.
Yeah.
Back to back to back.
Back to back. Yeah. Thank you, Thomas. Yeah. You took
Yeah.
I got sick, and then you've had back. The
Yeah,
tanker
I
blowing
forgot.
up is that dude that completely just that was a wrench. Me being sick was a wrench. Still don't know what got me sick. There's something in the air. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Connection issues, you name it.
I think it's just ironic. Just the timing of it.
Yeah.
Thomas finally gets back. He's given a chance, gets more involved. Enemy tries to attack. And it goes to show that we will finish our job regardless.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would look at it as a time. God is having us in a time of testing, allowing the enemy to mess with us to see if we're really going to move to that next level. I mean, think about it. God just put on my heart and set it up where we have a Bible app. Like in the midst of all this testing, we're building a biblical Bible app
Yeah.
that'll reach more people and help people to understand it and be available for everybody to use, whether iPhone, Android, or whatever. I think it's ironic how both are happening at the same time. So there's some movement going on spiritually speaking. I'll say that. All right, Thomas, why don't you go ahead and go first? Second Chronicles chapter 8 to chapter 20. Which one stuck out to you the most?
Okay, Second Chronicles chapter 20, verse 15. Be not afraid nor dismayed, for the battle is not yours, but God's. Context. So we have King, Jehoshaphat, who was like facing like overwhelming enemies and just adversity in general. But he ends up like calling on the people of the nation to like pray and fast for him and stuff like that. And then we have, I believe, God promising victory for them, but something that we can apply and we should be applying to our lives by showing that we are not falling into fear and to conforming to all the things that the devil wants us to conform to, but staying true and our faith residing in God, knowing that He got our back. And I said all the time, if He is with us, then who can be against us? So that's what I took from 2015. Back in 2015, I was only start rapping.
All right. Good one, Thomas. Good one, Thomas. Charles, you got anything you want to add on that?
No.
The only thing that I want to add then is I think it's funny how it lined up with what we were reading today about the end times. Sitting there talking about trusting in God and everything. And the whole portion, the last portion, I should say, chapter 26, was really about, when we really break it down, that the righteous do trust in God and they have reason to. Whereas the wicked, they want to do wickedness regardless. So I thought that was interesting that that's what stuck out to you as the same thing as the what we're dealing with today. All right. Go ahead, Charles.
It's funny. I didn't even add it in my prayer before we started the Bible study. I got Second Chronicles chapter 14.
Oh, the one time you don't bring up about
The one
something
time I don't
matching.
bring it up. Man, the one time I don't is the one time me and Thomas picked something out. I got Second Chronicles
Oh,
chapter
really?
14, literally chapter 14, verses 8 to 15. Let me go to my notes. Let me go to my. So this is when Asa is crying to God to help Asa and the Judah and I think the Benjamites with him too, against the Ethiopians and God destroying the Ethiopians. Now here's what I wrote down before I get into what we got into the context, like in our Bible study. I wrote down that it's funny that chapters ago, just a couple chapters, the Queen of Ethiopia was talking about Solomon and wisdom and all this other stuff and giving Solomon all of these precious things. Fast forward a couple chapters after, now we got the Ethiopians coming against the children of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
That was what I thought in my notes. But now I'm like, Asa crying to God, trusting in God, and God destroying the Ethiopians. Like, seriously? The one time I don't pray it in the one time I don't add it to my prayer.
I swear I thought you was gonna say prayed into existence.
No, it's not said that. It's funnier. Oh man, I've been missing my. Oh man, I be quicker with the jokes.
Look, I've been on it. You ain't been recently.
I've been off.
What was the one from yesterday that you missed that you could have said?
It was a line from it was a music. You brought up a song, and I was like, "Oh man, I can't even be listening to that kind of music anymore." I forgot the "Snap Your Fingers." Do you still from that?
Yeah.
It was something that made you think of the.
That's what it was. That's what you said. Like you could just snap your fingers and bop your head, and I was like, "Snap your fingers, bop your head."
Can't even listen to that kind of music no more. Dang.
That was so great.
One day I'll get back to it.
It's fine if you don't. I just thought it was so great. That was freaking hilarious.
Go ahead, Thomas. What you got on my section? of God helping Assad and Judah and Benjamin from the Ethiopians.
Nothing but that was funny though.
Yeah.
More so
Especially because of
in my
the
section.
yeah, exactly. The one
Go
time you
ahead.
don't pray on it, the one time you have that one song, and I don't. And the funny part too on that, let me add this, is just the fact that I don't really listen to that music even back then that much. So I think it's hilarious. But back to the point. So Thomas had nothing to add on that. The part that I'll add is that the oldest Bible in the world of the physical copies is the Ethiopian Bible. And so I think it's ironic that they're so involved yet not involved. Like they believed in his, they trusted in him, gave him all this money, and yet at other times came against them. All this stuff just to not be involved. And then at the end of everything, hundreds of years later, they have the oldest physical copy of the Bible. Not even in Europe or the Middle East, but Ethiopia. So it's just interesting. All right. And now, do you guys have anything you want to add or say before we close it out?
No.
I love how I just got here to the fuel pump now. So where I would have been, I just made it as we're ending. So, all right, y'all. Have a good night.